In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 eye brushes. I am super excited about this video because it's a collaboration with my wonderful friend, Michele Wang. Michele is going to be doing a video about her top 10 face brushes. And if you don't know Michele, oh my gosh, she has the most amazing luxury beauty channel. And not only does she do great, very in-depth reviews, but she has a way of describing things that is probably better than most people I've ever seen. Maybe it's because she comes from a creative background of knitting and design. She was a knitwear designer for a long time. So I don't know if it comes from that, but there's just somehow the way she puts her words together, and she's super funny. There are things she says, she just has this dry sense of humor where you always will have a smile on your face several times during her videos, so you definitely have to go check her out. She and I have known each other, gosh, it's been at least a couple of years since we found each other's channels. I don't know, we started commenting on each other's channels, and we're kind of in the same age range. I'm about 5 or 6 older than her, I'm 52, but you know, I don't know, and we started chatting, and so now we talk all the time, and she's just such a lovely, wonderful person. So make sure when you're done with this video to go over and check out hers. And if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Nicole. I'm so glad that you're here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video and of course Michele's video a like, and subscribe to her too if you're not subscribed there yet. So let's go ahead and get into the brushes I've selected. Made this kind of hard. Made 5 natural hair and 5 synthetic. And I'm normally far more of a natural hair girl, so I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to be really kind of hard to find 5 synthetic ones. I'm like, oh yeah, these are great. But then I actually had a hard time paring down to 5 synthetic brushes because for certain things I do reach for those synthetics. So I will go ahead and start out with the natural hair brushes. The first brush I want to talk about is the Wang Goss number 16 brush. And I actually have 2 of them because I always was having one dirty and I always wanted this brush around, so I got a second one. What I love so much about this brush, this is undyed goat hair. And what I love about it is that while it is a pointed shaded brush, it's not super pointed. You know how some of them just come to such a point, and for me, you know, I don't have huge eyes. I don't have a ton of real estate on my eyes, so when I go in there, I like to be able to really kind of work the pigment, and you know, less is more for me, you know, as I add and add and add. And this just gives me a way to get into my crease and kind of buff upwards, you know, without getting up too high. And it just diffuses it so well. I think that this brush was a total game changer for me. I think brushes in general are such a thing to invest in, and it doesn't always have to be super expensive. It's just find the ones that really work well, because it will make your eyeshadow go on faster, easier, and that faster part will save you a lot of time, and it just looks better. So, you know, if I had the choice of getting, you know, a set of a whole bunch of brushes or getting 1 or 2 really good brushes, I would rather have less brushes, wash them more often, and have really great ones. And I just have loved this brush so much, and I use it constantly. The second brush I want to talk about is this, the Esum W21. This looks like a very simple little Filbert brush, but you know what? It just is one of these brushes. I actually received this when I bought one of their holiday shop sets, where I think I got like a couple of Viseart eyeshadow palettes, and then they gave me this brush and a different brush with it. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. It didn't look super exciting to me. But this Sable brush, the way it picks up the eyeshadows and just allows me to place them. And I love the size of this because I can get way into my corner. You know, I can just brush it across, I can pat on with it. And I just love this brush so much. It's just, you kind of have to use it. And it's just one of those things where like, whatever, and then you start using it, like, oh wow. And I use this probably every single day. In case you're not familiar, Esum is the house brand of Muse Beauty Pro. Esum is Muse backwards. If you don't know Muse Beauty Pro, they are an online store. They were actually started by makeup artists who only have brands in there that they use in their kits themselves. They're all kind of tried and true, tested. They came up with this line. They are handmade, but they're handmade in China, but they're designed by Alphonse Weibelt and probably with input from some of the other makeup artists there. But they've all been made for a purpose, and they hold up super well. So even though I use this all the time, wash this all the time, you know, and don't do anything, you know, special, it still looks about as good as the day that I got it. Sonia G, the Worker 1. I just love the way that when I need to, you know, buff things in or even apply to my lid, if I want to kind of pack something on, this brush kind of does it all. I mean, honestly, I feel like you could do and I think I actually have done my entire eye makeup with this because it's pointy enough on the end where if you even needed to do a little bit of blending here or adding pigment here, you could apply to your lid. You could just buff in if it's clean, you know, just kind of diffuse your shadows more. You could kind of do everything with this or work your crease. So, you know, it really is a worker, and this is just really a beautiful brush. If you haven't tried Sonia G brushes, I cannot recommend them highly enough. The next brush I want to talk about is the Rephr 01. Rephr is a newer line. They started out not too long ago, 3 guys who really didn't know anything about makeup or beauty, and they wanted to start a makeup brush line. And what they did, it's very interesting, Rephr's reference, they would basically give out brushes if you would give them a review of what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like. And they did it with makeup artists, and they did it with consumers, and kind of everything in between to try to tweak things to be the best that they possibly could be. I have some of their prototype brushes and have been really happy with them. The 01 is one that, again, I feel like you could pretty much be needed to do almost all your makeup, your eye makeup with it if you needed to. And it performs really well. They're handmade in Japan. This is undyed goat hair. It picks up, you know, the pigment beautifully, applies it smoothly, washes super, super well, is very soft, well made. So I really love this one because, again, it's fluffy enough that if you needed to just actually just do your crease work and everything, but also kind of is angled enough the way that the hairs are in there that you could just pack on really nicely. I really, really enjoy this brush and use it all the time. I'm constantly having to wash it because I keep getting it dirty, and it's held up super, super, super well. So check out Rephr. They just started actually shipping product like where you would normally, you know, order and buy it just in the last month or so. But they have some really good deals. I think they're very affordable for the quality that you're getting. This next brush is the Chikuhodo GSN 08. I love this one. This is made of weasel hair, actually. It's super, super soft, and the reason I like this, it is so multi-purpose, and I use it all the time. It is great for everything from just quickly putting a base color all over your lids to great for kind of inner corner. It's got kind of a pointy tip. As you can see, it's kind of a thin tip there. So it's great for even at your lash line, and it works really well for cream shadows too. I don't use cream shadows a lot, but when I do, you know, this is just wonderful for applying those. So I use this one all the time and love it. So my first synthetic brush is this one by Mercier. It is the flat eyeliner brush. I use this every day, and look at it. It looks brand new. The thing about it is it's synthetic now. Back when I started using Mercier, which was about 25 years ago, all of the brushes, or at least I think most of the brushes, were natural hair. And what would happen over time is somehow they would kind of splay open, you know, after like 5 or 6 months, which would make it more difficult because, you know, now it's great because I could boop, 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 do a, you know, just clean little line, or I could kind of wiggle it and really get up into my lash line, and it keeps its shape. So this has been a fantastic, fantastic brush that I use over and over again. I've got other brushes I can use for this, but I just go back to this one time and time again. Now, I just want to throw in one honorable mention. Actually, it's not a synthetic brush, but, you know, I'm just going to throw this in real quickly in case you do tight line. This Wang Goss brush, I think it's the 08. Yeah, it's the 08. It is super, 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 super tiny. I mean, it's almost ridiculously tiny, but if, like me, I've got a, you know, hooded eye, and when I tight line, so this is the Mercier stuff that I use, the cake tight liner, you know, just add some water, you know, to the brush. I wet the brush and I go in here, make a little paste and do it. But this one, I have not a lot of lid to show. Now I've got lashes, I have a liner, I did the whole thing, but for an everyday look, if I'm just using mascara, really thick liner, my entire eyelid goes away. So what I'll do then is I'll use this brush and go in, because I can get a super, 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 super fine line there to where I darken up right at the roots, but not further up, and it looks really, really good. So just have to throw that in there because, okay, oh well, it's my video, I can do it, right? The next brush I want to talk about is the Scott Barnes 63. When I purchased my Scott Barnes brushes, gosh, like at least 6 or 8 months ago, I know I need to do a review on the whole thing, but I was kind of like, okay, this is weird. What am I going to use this for? But it's come in really, really handy. I have to say, I really enjoy this brush so much because I can just grab a color and just within moments have it all over my lid. It works the crease, it's a good blender, and because of this little point, I can do some detail work too. you know, and it's just a little too thick. I don't think, unless you're doing like just diffusing under the eye, like I wouldn't start with this to apply under my eye just because I don't have enough real estate here. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people who usually will do a very blown out lower lash line because it just drags my eye down. I need to keep things going up because of my hooded eye. You know, so it's not for me, it doesn't work for that, but I could see how for someone who had more real estate that they could, you know, maybe get it going in there like that. But you know, even here for cleaning up, like sometimes, you know, when I do my little concealer or one of those Anastasia Beverly Hills, you know, little highlight sticks for under the brow line, you know, sometimes you just want to go in, and if I take this clean and kind of diffuse with that, it works really, really well to kind of buff that out. So this was such a surprise for me. I was just like, okay, and I'm really loving this brush. So very unique design, well done. Another brush I use all the time is this one by Artis. This is the Circle 1R, and I know it's kind of maybe weird looking, but if I am using a cream and I want to like apply it, smooth it on, or inner corner, or again buff out up here, this works super well, cleans up really nicely, and held up wonderfully. I've had this for probably like 2 years, and it looks like brand new. And you can use this for other things too. It works for nose contour. I mean, there's a lot of things you can use it for, you know, or even, you know, concealer, kind of working that in here, because it's so handy because it gets to these little places, you know, it just works well. Or, you know, do you ever get where things want to cake up in here? I mean, this is such a handy brush, kind of for all over, but we're talking about eyes right now, talking about eyes. So another synthetic one that I would really, really miss if I did not have. This next one is the Luxie 229 blending brush. And what's really cool about this is that, first off, Luxie brushes are made very well. They're a very affordable line if you're looking for synthetic affordable line. But it works really well and has this really nice flat top to it. So for me, because, you know, I don't have a ton of real estate on my eyes, so, you know, for me to blend like this, it just works really well. I can go kind of sideways, get a little bit more edge to it if I want, so it can be multi-purpose, and it just does a nice job. A lot of times I'll use this one clean when I am done putting on my shadow, and then buff things out if I need to more, or it works great for application. Again, I'm more of a fan of the natural hair brushes than the synthetic, but I think this one does an excellent job. The Esum T43 is fantastic also. This works super well for creams because, you know, synthetic just, it washes so well, and it picks up really nicely. The way that the hairs are angled here, I think it does a great job of picking up. You can apply quickly because it's a nice good size, so this one's super handy. And again, it's got that bit of a point that for underneath here with creams or powders works super well. So what are your favorite eyeshadow brushes? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. And why don't you pop over to Michele's channel right now, check out her favorite face brushes video, and don't forget to like and subscribe there and here. And oh, one other thing though that you might not know, Michele is pretty cool. She curated a set of her favorite Esum brushes from Muse Beauty Pro for the holiday season. They're currently sold out. However, it looks like there's going to be a restock. If you want to put your email address in, then you can be notified when they restock. And it's a really nice set. I have them. I enjoy them, and you can do your entire eye look using these brushes. There's only one synthetic. These are natural hair, and you can see by the different shapes just how you could use these to really just do everything. And it does include this guy that is one of the coolest shapes ever. It's super great for taking pigment, doing your kind of outer V area. You can even use it to very softly, you know, buff in this area here. It's very flexible. It's really a unique brush, very cool. So just had to throw a little plug in for these because they're great brushes, and I'm very excited for Michele, and it's really cool they already sold out, but they will be restocking, so make sure to grab those. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you, and it's not goodbye, just so long till next time.